Hey YouTube, I am back with another amazing interview with another amazing Black CFP. I have with me today Manny Henson, CFP. Is that correct? What's going on, man?
Right, man. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Listen, I do this all the time. I love hearing these stories about, how you ended up where you are. And one of the things I say all the time, you had probably an option of all these different things you could be, right? I mean,
Right,
if you're able to pass the CFP exam, you're probably able to pass many other things.
right.
What led you to become a certified financial planner?
Really, it's life experience. Growing up with a single mom, I recognized that there was a lot of issues with money. And my mom actually drove for SEPTA, which is a government agency in
Uh-huh.
southeastern Pennsylvania. So she was union job. She had a whole bunch of different things, but she struggled. And then maybe in the tech stock boom around that time, I started looking at the stock market. And I'm like, wow, how people are making a lot of money. Let me try this out. I twisted my mom's arm to drive me up to Willow Grove, which is a suburb of Philly. I'm from
Uh-huh.
Philly. You might recognize the accent, but I got my first finance book. It was probably about 15, 16. Stock investing online for dummies, and got
Really?
a paper trading account, and I was hooked after that. And so I knew I was going to be in finance. I didn't know I was going to be in financial planning until maybe about 10 years later after graduating.
Wow.
2 months later, after I graduated, my grandmother passed away, and I actually had to deal with states and all these other things. I said to myself,
Right.
I want to help people, and then I started working for a financial planning firm right outside of Philly, and then got an opportunity to go for my CFP, and the rest is history. I got the opportunity to talk to a lot of amazing people with a lot of amazing challenges, and it was instrumental in helping me kind of help those people navigate.
All right, all
I'm
right. So
not
let's
gonna do it.
let's take a couple of steps
It's a
back here.
lot.
So
I know.
as now, listen, it's a great story. So
Give me
as
quick
as a
notes.
kid, you're out there, you're learning about the stock market, how to invest and stuff like that. What college did you actually go to?
I went to a school called Kutztown University
Hmm.
in Pennsylvania.
Okay,
Yeah, so a
and
small school. Yeah,
and what did you study while you were there?
finance.
Okay, so just straight finance major.
Yeah,
Okay.
finance.
All right. So while obviously while you're going to school, your finance major, I'm pretty sure they made you do an internship. I know they made me do an internship. Did you do an internship?
Yeah, I tried, but it was tough. I was a poor student. Hard to get around, but I worked my butt off. I was
Yeah.
actually appointed to provide recommendations for the college endowment, and
Uh,
was involved, full ride, and all that
nice.
stuff. But I got an opportunity, amazing opportunity, to work with major asset management company at 6 months after graduation, and
Mhm.
that's where I really got my feet in, and learning where I wanted to be.
Okay, I want to hear some more about this. So after you graduated with your majoring in finance, you were able to join this firm. Let's hear a little bit more about it, because did this kind of help shape what type of
Yeah,
clients you wanted to work with? Like, how did you even end up there?
yeah. It was unique in that I got into the market, into the job market, about a year prior to the Great Recession. And so it was lucky. Like, so we were talking about helping people invest now. Then next, everything's it's like bad look, and then everybody's calling and telling, like, okay, how am I? What do I do? What do I sell? What do I do from here? So it was like,
Right.
uh, baptism by fire, and helping people understand how to make decisions in really bad circumstances.
Hmm.
And yeah, like I said, it's the rest is history. It's
Yeah, is it because it feels like during that time you're really in like crisis management. Like that's not the traditional world where you enter into, especially like to old money. You're just a
yeah,
young kid. You might
yeah,
have
yeah,
graduated, right? You might have
yeah,
graduated with your
yeah.
finance degree, but you're a young kid, and they're having probably the worst moment of their financial life. looking at their portfolio shrink and shrink and shrink and
Yeah.
shrink. And here you are, young kid, just got out of college, and you're going to help them understand what's going on. What were those conversations like, trying to manage not just money, but also manage
Emotion.
people's Yes, tell me, how was
Yeah,
that like,
man.
especially being a kid? In their eyes, you're a kid.
Yeah, I mean, all the technical things that we were supposed to know were prerequisites, right? I mean, I've done things that you would expect to do a CFA exam in my finance degree. So like, but
Right.
none of that really matters when correlations rise and everything is falling. And so I never forget a day when a guy called me up. He said, "Look, I'm ready to just jump out the window. Like,
Whoa.
I would jump out the window if it wasn't for the fact I'm on the fourth floor." But it's a joke, but it was stressful.
Yeah.
You feel, you engage, and you absorb some of the negative emotions over time. So you have to kind of pace yourself and think positive, but also give them the truth, which is you don't know everything. You don't know
Right.
how far it's going to drop. Obviously, you got to think about your circumstances, where you are, how long you're going to be investing, all those things that you normally do. But hindsight's 2020. People forgot to do those things before they were heading into those recessions. So it was a tough time.
Right. Okay. So obviously, I mean, you graduated into a recession. You're working with, investors, and you're trying to help them navigate a recession, not just a recession. We refer to it now as the Great Recession, right?
Right.
Okay. When do you transition, or how does the CFP exam and everything even hit your horizon? How do you even see it coming up as something, you know what? I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I think every year, everybody, not just if you're a CFP, but any kind of professional, like you should be looking at one major stretch goal, education-wise, knowledge-wise, in your profession every year.
Right.
And so the CFP was just a natural progression for me. I did Series 6, 63, was going working for the 7, and recognized obviously there's a body of knowledge that you need to expand into. Look, most people, even if you go into finance, you're a little light on estate planning, you're a little light, on employee benefits and that sort of thing. So everything's important, and it was just the right type of stretch goal at the right time.
Okay. Now, when you started your CFP journey, was there a particular coursework that you went with, like a college that you went to be able to complete the coursework? Like, what
Yeah.
was that like? Were you doing like night school, online? How did you kind of navigate that?
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I studied for 3 hours. And I have a wife and a kid, and I had a 2.5 hour commute in the morning.
Oh man.
Like, it was just very disciplined, time blocking, studying. And I did Kaplan, the self study. So I swear by Kaplan. I tell everybody, I've tested for Kaplan for everything from the SATs to the 6, 63, 7, 66 CFP.
Right.
I probably should have gone with that with the enrolled agent, but I'm using another outfit now. But
right.
Yeah, I swear by the Kaplan CFP self study, and then I did a capstone. So I went with Brett Danko. Brett Danko, I swear he's hilarious, and he keeps me. He said the overall 2-day review, it was like drinking out of fire hose, but he prepared me prior to that, and you had the 2 days of fun. And I swear, if I did, you go through that, you do what he tells you to do, you're gonna do it.
You go, man. And I think that is a key thing that people need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Regardless what like review course that you use. Obviously, you're gonna use one that has a big name, or you're gonna use one that just makes sense. Maybe they have an app or something that you like to use. Whatever, it doesn't matter. You have to do what they say to do.
Yeah, the pages are going to make themselves.
Don't try to shortcut the process. If it says do these multiple choice questions on these days and study for this time, you do exactly what it says. Because one of the biggest questions that I get from either students or career changers when it comes to actually studying for the exam. So they did, the
Yeah.
coursework is done.
Mhm.
Coursework is done. They've done their capstone. Now they are qualified to sit for the CFP exam. They all want to know, what's the magic number?
Yeah.
How many hours do I need to study? And the answer is simple. You need to study for as many hours that it takes so that you are actually passing your practice exams and you're answering these multiple choice questions correctly. There is no magic number. The number for you is going to be different for the number for me. So the fact that
Exactly.
you say, hey, you have to do what the review course says. So
Yeah.
you knocked it out of the park. Well, you were a one shot, set down for the
One
CFP,
time.
one time, one
One
and done.
time. I was not doing it again. Yeah. And my wife would tell me and test me like, yeah, I was a ghost for the last like 8 weeks. I was just went to work, came home, went to my office, and I was available to eat, and then we went to bed. Like that was my life. And I woke up, studied, went to work. Like it was I had no life for about 2 months prior to the exam, but it was definitely worth it. It was one of the best things I did in my career.
Nice. Okay, so here we are. You graduated with your degree in finance. You're already in the industry. You wanted to challenge yourself. You want to get the gold standard within
Yeah.
financial planning. You passed the CFP exam. Throughout this process, are you kind of formulating in your mind the type of practice, the type of financial planning practice that you want to have? Is it something that, hey, I'll
Yeah.
take any client that comes my way?
Yeah.
Or like, talk about that process. What did that look like?
So when you're working with an asset manager, think T. Rowe Price, Fidelity, Vanguard, a lot of it's not eat what you kill. Like it's not like you're building your own practice. You're building the relationships for the employer, right?
Right.
And so I thought that was a really safe way to go through CFP. And I'm actually the advisor for my college's financial planning degree
Nice.
program, and I tell the students all the time, it's like get some feet under you, like understand where you want to be, and study first before you start going, jumping into wirehouses and that sort of thing. Not necessarily, no offense for that, but like you're going to study, you're trying to get to CFP, get some time, get some reps in to understand the sales process, to understand how to manage relationships, and then so after I get in my CFP, I was recognized I didn't really want to go into financial planning at my firm that I was working at.
Right.
And so I jumped and went to another discount broker and downtown DC, which was amazing.
Really?
Under some of the best, consultants in the company, and then I started with my 66, got my registered investment advisory representative license with the 66. And then, about 2 years after that, decided, I'm actually going to start writing my own business plan. So that's when it started. I would say it was about 4 years or so after I passed my CFP that I said to myself, longer term, I want to be managing my own clients. I want to be creating my own firm.
Nice. Hey, I want to ask a question. Step back a little bit about the mentorship that you received, because I felt like there was a little spark there.
Yeah.
And I want to hear about that, because you're there and you're being mentored by some guys that it sounds like it really helped form where you wanted to go within this profession. What was that like?
Yeah, so I was really analytical, as you might imagine, an analytical person. It really helped me to kind of understand how to work with people who are more extroverted, how to talk to people. And this is a relationship business.
Yes.
Right? Before we talk about numbers and delve into this thing, there's a lot of other smaller steps you got to establish before you dump information on them and talk to them about what you think you might be talking about. Right. And so those finer soft skills were the things that helped me.
Nice.
And that takes time, and it takes mentorship. I have always had a mentor. I would tell everybody at every stage of your career, you should be helping somebody and then someone else you should be reaching out to get help from someone else who's
Yeah.
where you want to be.
Yeah,
So,
I'm a big proponent for mentorship and stuff like that. But I want to be clear here, people.
yeah.
There's a lot of people out here who are selling mentorship.
Yes.
I don't believe in selling mentorship. Right now, I'm more traditional. Right, this is my mindset. Now, Manny, maybe you don't agree. I don't want to put this on you. I want to make sure that people understand this is what I'm saying. If I am paying for your mentorship, you are not a mentor, you're a consultant. And listen, I'm cool with consultants, but we're not going to have a mentor-mentee relationship if I'm paying you. If I'm paying you, you are a consultant, and I will speak to you like a consultant. Not going to be a whole lot of me bowing my head and holding your bags. If I'm paying you money, you're a consultant. I want results. I want a return for my money. But if you're a mentor, then yeah, I'm gonna take you out to lunch. I'm gonna pay for both of us. I'm gonna listen to the great stories and the advice that you have, and I'm gonna learn. But I'm not putting any direct cash in your hand. I don't believe in that, man. And there's guys out here who will basically tell people you gotta pay to get in the room.
Yeah.
You buy a $50,000 mentorship from so-and-so guru, and it's worth it because you'll be making millions of dollars later. And I don't agree with that.
I had a conversation with my mentor that I've known for 17 years, and he makes thousands per hour, with his day job, speaking and that sort of thing. And I don't remember him ever charging me every time for 17 years. The conversation really never ever really come up.
We listen, Manny. We live in a weird world right now where people with little to no education can make hundreds of thousands of dollars selling courses on things that they've never done. But let me get off my soapbox for a second here.
Do that.
Get off my soapbox for a minute, and let's go back to your story. So, okay, so you were mentored, you kind of got out of your shell, and now you have the soft skills, which is extremely important. Unless you're just an analyst in the back room making up financial plans,
right?
You got to be able to talk to people. Because here's one of the things I tell people all the time. I can put together the best financial plan for you that just drops from the sky, right? Perfect financial plan. But if I don't have the soft skills to get you to buy into it so that you actually follow the financial plan, it's a $2,500 binder.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
Warren Buffett, the most notable investment person in the industry,
right,
started out as a stockbroker, selling, right, having conversations with one person at a time. Mm-hmm. And so if you can't master that, you're not going to get to the point where you're managing $100 million firms and that sort of thing, right? So it's a step, even for people who want to come into this. I tell people, like, you don't like talking to people, then this is not a job for you, right? No. You be analytical and be accountant, actuary, writing the white papers. I had the opportunity to where I could have done that, make that change. But yeah, I like what I do, and so you have to like talking to people.
You have to, because we're not just number crunchers, right? It's not about just crunching the numbers. It's about building a relationship with someone. Just think about what actually happens here.
Yeah.
People who, at one point, we do not know them, right? They come to us and they have to share with us their dreams, and not only their dreams, but their fears. Right? It's a very vulnerable situation for someone to put themselves into. You're explaining what your dreams are, the things that you want, and you're also explaining the things that you don't want, the things that scare you the most. You have to give that information to your financial planner, and your financial planner is going to create a plan for you to accomplish your goals at the same time making sure we're steering away from anything that can get you close to your fears. we're part number crunchers, and we're also therapists. It's like people call
Oh
us
my
up.
goodness, people tell me things that they don't tell their spouses or their best friends.
Yeah.
I'm that confidant, that person that they can get, unbiased,
Mm-hmm.
objective opinion from. And that's kind of hard because most people you're talking to, they're selling you something, they have some ulterior motive. But the other part of it all is people grow up with money mindsets, right? They have
Mm-hmm.
these ideas about where money plays a role in their lives, in their values.
Right.
And so what I always start off with before we go into numbers, I talk to anybody who's on boarding me is, tell me about what was your interaction with money? What place do you put money in your value of other people?
Mm-hmm.
How about that in yourself? And so it's a lot involved with every decision that you make financially. And it's not just the numbers. People just don't look at graphs and say, okay, I want to make this particular decision because this is the optimum path.
Right. And it's
Yeah,
like it would work that way if we were androids.
we will be out of a
Right.
job.
Yeah. You wouldn't need it anymore because so much of money management is managing emotion. Because people spend their money, they invest their money, however, whatever they do, a lot of that is going to be based, not just logical. I need food, clothing, shelter. Da, da, da. People spend money on the fun things in life
Yeah,
at the cost of their financial futures because they don't really see the big picture. And you have to not just say, hey, dummy, you're spending all your money now and you're going to be, 60 years old
yeah,
greeting people at Walmart. You have to say,
yeah,
you have to do it in a way
yeah.
where they understand, they get it, and now they're buying into it. So I want to get an idea of where do you ultimately see yourself, like in a dream situation? What is the type of practice that you ultimately leave your legacy on?
Yeah, so my legacy, I want to create financial planners, and
Mhm.
so that's a big hurdle. And I'm working with my 4 or 5 year plan projections and doing a whole bunch of other things to do that. But I think if we're going to do one conversation at a time, we also have to reach out and get more financial planners in this business.
Right.
And so my goal is to create a practice where, yes, investment planning is going to be a part of it, part of the puzzle, but financial planning, goal planning,
Mhm.
behavioral coaching is also a foundational part of my practice. And
Nice.
so that's where I want to lead.
No, that's amazing because that's what we need. That's
Yeah.
absolutely what we need. We need to see more certified financial planners in our culture, in the community, so that they have the average everyday person has access to someone who's number one, unbiased,
All right.
right? A fiduciary, not someone with the mindset of, I have to sell you this thing.
Mhm.
As much as I like you, I don't eat unless I sell you this thing. So
Right.
every time you come to me, what's the solution to your problem? Buy this thing.
Yeah.
And it's
And it's counterproductive. If you I look at most investment advisory relationship contracts, you'd have to get information from you, and they have assets. They ask you to check off check boxes, assets, and how much income you have, and that's always positive, obviously, right? And
right.
then where it says net assets, you never recognize that there's never a negative. Like they don't have nothing to say like you have a negative net worth, right? They never would remind you of that on their list of possible net worth choices. And
Right.
so a lot of what people really need to hear is they need to do addition through subtraction. They
Mm.
need to not buy something. They need to sell something. They need to pay off a debt. They need to do this. They need to do that. And most financial planners are, planning light to try to sell you something on the back end. And the
Yeah.
other part of it is like 60% of, I'm not sure if you knew this statistic, but 60% of Black women work for some level of the government, close to 60%.
No, I didn't
State,
know that.
local, federal, right? And so if your pension, you're putting money in your pension, you're putting money in your 403b, your 457, your thrift savings plan. All
Right.
right. Do you have enough money to put into investments? Is investments your priority? Or you already have your retirement your priority? There's other things that are priority.
Mhm.
And so if you don't understand that, you don't understand what the government employee is doing, you're not going to be able to help the black female in the United States, or on the average people who work in the government. And those are great. Those are great jobs. And
Yeah.
so it's a matter of being able to be broad and understanding people and not having any assumptions on where you're going to go with the conversation, because everybody's different.
Great point. Great point. All right, so here we go. Final question of the day.
Yeah.
If you were to go back in time and speak to a younger version of you, or obviously, I mean, what are your legacy thing is going to be building and making new black CFPs. What piece of advice would you give to a student or a career changer who wants to be a CFP, not sure what direction to go into? What would you tell them?
Get comfortable with the uncomfortable, right?
Mm,
You're only growing if you're uncomfortable, right? And so you might get intimidated, but the biggest decisions, the biggest decisions you make in your life that make you the happiest are usually the toughest. And so whether it's the CFP or some other designation or some other next step in your career, jump, right? If you know you have the requisite, and you're not sure about something, you're nervous about something, that's usually the sign that it's going to grow you. And
mm.
so I would say, obviously, listen to your mentors, study, work hard, don't eat an elephant, just have a plan, have it written down, and have it structured, and you just make that jump. You're going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be scary, but it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. That's perfect because I think what they're nervous about is one, can I do it? Right?
Yeah.
Can I actually get this thing done? Then when I get it done, is it a rewarding profession? I can tell you this. The way that we have the ability to positively impact the lives of other people is 100% worth it. And the pay's not bad, right? The pay's not bad. So you're able to positively impact other people and you get paid well. Who doesn't want that? So Manny, thank you so much for coming on. I absolutely appreciate it. Any type of contact information or anything that you want to share with the people, we will put it down in the show notes. Thank you so much for coming on.